Aloha and welcome to Connection to the Cosmos with your host, me, Dr. Lisa Thompson, where I have out of this world conversations with extraordinary people. And today I'm really excited to have on a Feng Shui expert. I don't think I've had one on my show yet. And being a former interior designer, I'm super excited about this. So we're going to have Jillian Rothschild-Scholar on, and I'll bring her on in just a moment. But first, a couple of announcements. If you have not had the opportunity to grab my free 20-minute meditative journey to meet your galactic family and guides, make sure you grab that on my website, mysticmanta.com or drlisajthompson.com. And if you're coming to Hawaii, to the Big Island, come on one of my Big Island UFO tours, where you'll get to use my advanced Generation 3 military night vision goggles and see the sky in a whole new way. So more information is at bigislandUFOtours.com. Without further ado, I'm going to bring on Jillian. Hello, Jillian.
Hi.
Hi. So great to have you here. Let me share with our audience your bio, because I've never had on a Feng Shui expert specifically, and so I'm really excited. And you do Chinese astrology too, so I'm super excited to hear about all of that. So Jillian is a classically trained Feng Shui expert and has been working in a private Feng Shui consultancy since 2010. She uses the wisdom of ancient time-tested Feng Shui methods and Chinese astrology to identify issues while offering practical solutions for modern lifestyles. One of her strengths is that she simplifies the intricate details so clients can take immediate action to enhance the physical, emotional, and or spiritual aspects of their lives. Okay, so before we jump into what you actually do and having people understand why this is so important, because it really is, I would love for you to share with me and the audience kind of how you grew up, spiritual, religious, something else, so we can see this, how you got into the work that you do.
That's a terrific question. So I'm actually from Ohio.
Okay.
My mother passed away when I was very young, and I was raised by my father, who was in the military. And so in a Jewish household, so I'm a nice Jewish girl from Ohio, and how do you find your way to Feng Shui?
Yeah.
So I was always into anything that was really unconventional. My first memory of being interested in anything unconventional was the day I had a fight with my dad over the newspaper, because the newspaper page had the crossword and the horoscope. He wanted the crossword and I wanted the horoscope, and I didn't win. But I remember going, oh, there's something out there that can tell me about my life. And I went through a healing process in my early 20s where I was like trying to figure out myself and find myself and understand who I was, and I was trying to figure out how to navigate the career path and corporate world, and it led myself to self-help books, and somewhere in there in the 2000s I got a Feng Shui book, and I remember picking it up and showing it to my friend, and he said, this is what I want to do. This is really interesting. This can actually help people. And it's ancient. And the Chinese know something that we don't. And to me, it was like a revelation. I did spend 20 years in college admissions counseling, helping people find their path in education, develop their lives. And in that process, I was like reading every Feng Shui book I could get my hands on. And I found teachers and classes and workshops, and I just developed my interest over time. And initially it was like a thing I did on the side. Mm-hmm. But then I discovered there was more and deeper, and it was more interesting. And I found my classical teacher. I mentored with her for a year and a half of private mentoring, and became officially certified in the lineage. And I continued to work at my day job. I made a lot of money. I practiced the Feng Shui. I did all the things I needed to do. Like I finally got my husband to buy into it. That happened when the money came. Like extra zeros in the paycheck. He was like, "Oh, yeah, this thing actually works." So I had said I would stay in my job, even though I didn't like it anymore. Mm-hmm. And one day, and I was planning for this. I knew there would be a day when the job was going to end, because I made so much money, it was like not sustainable for the company. So unfortunately, there was a massive layoff. Hundreds of us lost our job that day. But there were people legitimately crying, like they're losing their livelihood. And I was like, it's my day. I get to do this full time. And I remember taking my badge, tossing it to the people, and like, I'm out of here. And I never looked back. That was in 2019.
Okay. Oh, okay. So that was recent when you left the job. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Now I'm full time. All Chinese metaphysics, Feng Shui, all the time.
Okay. So for those who don't know, first of all, what Feng Shui even is, because it's not necessarily like a mainstream kind of practice, right?
Not on our culture at all.
No. So I would love for you to share what classical Feng Shui is, or Feng Shui in general, but then what's classical Feng Shui?
The words Feng Shui translate from Chinese to be wind, water. And the ancient poem goes something like this. Qi rides on the wind down the mountain and stops at the boundary of water. And so the land becomes very important when we're talking about Feng Shui. Where's the mountain? Where's the water? Where's the road? Where's the field? Where are the things that are in our environment that help drive and sort of shape where qi flows? To me, Feng Shui is a support system for our lives. When our lives have support through our physical environment, then it's just easier to achieve the things that we want in life, like well-being, good health, prosperity, good relationships, all the things that we're striving for. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we're just striving for things to be not crappy. Some of us just go through life with like little niggly things that happen. It doesn't seem like it's a big deal. But sometimes there are people who deal with really big issues, major health issues, major financial issues, major relationship issues. And sometimes you just feel like these problems keep digging and you can't get yourself out of them. You can't find a way out. And at some point you kind of look around and go, is it the house? Maybe it's the house. Maybe there's something going on in my environment that isn't working. And this is where Feng Shui can come in.
Okay, so can you give us some examples of how Feng Shui can help? I guess we'll start with health first and foremost.
That's a great question. So there is a system called 8 mansions. And it's one aspect, one lens, if you will, of Feng Shui. And this system indicates how qi flows into the house, how it's allocated in whether it's auspicious or inauspicious. And as people, we can use a system for ourselves. So based on the year that we're born, we can use this system to calculate our quote good directions and quote bad directions. The four good directions are for life generating qi. So it's the best, most vibrant. It's really great for working. Energy. It's lots of support. Not so great for sleep because it gives you less energy. But it's life generating qi. The second one is what's called Heavenly Doctor. This is excellent for health. So if you're dealing with a health issue, we want you to use this direction when you're sleeping, when you're working. We want a good door in your house to be in this area in order to the qi to come to you. There's a third one for relationships. And there's another one for stability, which is also great for sleep. So in my lineage, my master teacher used to say, you can really change a man's luck by giving him a good direction to sleep, like a homeless person. If you give them a direction to sleep where their head is in a favorable direction, does it mean that they're going to become a millionaire overnight? No. But it could mean that someone would come to them and offer them a job or offer them an opportunity that could be totally life-changing. So his theory was everybody in the hospital who was healing from a major issue left in a direction that was favorable. They had a greater chance of healing faster and better outcomes. So that's one aspect. With Feng Shui, Everybody wants the whole enchilada. You don't always get the whole enchilada. Sometimes you get the nachos. That's what my teacher used to say. And the nachos could be like your bed, your door, your stove, the placement of water. Just a few of the key things in your home. Could be a desk direction. And this system is very easy to apply. On my website, I have a free toolkit that you can check out. It's called the 8 Mansions Toolkit. You can go to the website, go to free stuff, and access that. Try it out for yourself.
Beautiful. So since you're throwing the website out, what is your website?
The business is called Feng Shui in Motion. And the website is fsinmotion.com.
Okay, fsinmotion.com. Perfect. Okay. Well, so, some of the things that I understand in terms of like sleeping position and just the flow of energy. So what if someone's bedroom isn't conducive to sleeping in the correct position for them? Because all homes can be weird. I've been in thousands of homes trying to, design them and stage them. And there's some really funky homes. So
I hear that, and I have seen my share of homes too. I don't get easy stuff. I get really challenging stuff. I will say this: having good feng shui is not always convenient.
Okay.
If you're dealing with a major issue, you have to decide what level of inconvenience you're willing to deal with in order to change your situation. Because if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got before.
Okay.
So it could be that even though in your mind you walk in a room and the architectural intent is for the bed to be on a particular wall, but that wall could be making you really sick. It could be causing a long list of financial issues, relationship issues. And if you're feeling at the end of your rope, changing the angle of your bed, either 180 degrees or just 90 degrees. Even if you've heard, oh, my bed can't go on that wall because there's a window there. That's a myth. There's a lot of misinformation out there about feng shui. I would really encourage you to change and try it before you think it doesn't work. And I know this to be true. I did it myself. My husband and I were sleeping early on in my feng shui experience. My husband and I were sleeping on a wall. It was the wrong direction for the two of us because we're the same alignment.
Okay.
We were sleeping on a very negative wall. It was the wrong direction. And then on top of it, there's another system called flying stars. And the flying stars made an energy formation called a weeping formation. It's like disaster. We had a massive water leak in our bathroom, which came into our bedroom. And I was begging my husband, can we move the bed to a different wall? He was arguing with me. No, the nightstand isn't going to fit. It's going to be really weird in the bedroom. I was like, first of all, I measured it. The nightstand will fit. Second of all, to appease you, I will go without a nightstand because again, there's another myth out there that you have to have 2 nightstands. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
totally ridiculous. So I said, just let me try it. I was like, you're not even going to do anything. I'll do it myself. I put on my big girl pants. I shoved the bed against the wall. The nightstands both fit. We slept really well. And within a few weeks, started to notice good things started happening. So in addition to sleeping better, the remediation of the water leak went quicker. Mm-hmm. He ended up getting an interview for something he applied for, and it wasn't getting any traction. And so it was like the first thing that he noticed. For me, I had a client who worked at TV, and she was like, "Come on TV and do something about a feng shui and come tell us what you do." And then all of a sudden, like after that, he was all, "Oh, there's something to this." And then that sort of led us down to fixing a couple of things in the house that were unfavorable.
Yeah.
So even though it's convenient, I really encourage you to try it.
Okay, so now this is going to be an interesting one. So what if your spouse or partner that you are sharing a bed with, what if you are supposed to be sleeping in different directions?
It's a great question.
It
happens all the time.
Okay, yeah. So how does one deal with that?
Well, you could do two things. One, you can call a practitioner because we would have an advanced formula to give you something that will work for both of you.
That's one option.
The second option is to make sure the breadwinner gets the most support. So if your spouse is the breadwinner, let them win this one. Let them have a good sleeping position. Because we need them to be rested and we need them to have good support. All those things. The third option would be to sleep differently.
Yeah.
It's not so easy, right, to sleep like what would sort of feels like head to toe, if you will. There are people in other countries who will do it. I had one client who was adamant that she wanted to give her husband the best energy. And bless her heart, she slept on the floor in a different direction because she was in such a dire situation. She was like, I will do whatever it takes. And it worked for her. It wasn't the only thing that we did. It was never one thing.
Yeah.
But it was very helpful for her, and she was able to do it. So there's always a solution.
Okay.
There's almost always. I mean, in all these years, I think I've told 4 or 5 people to move. It's not a common thing to say, like, your feng shui is so bad, you have to move. 99% of the time, there's always a solution that we can tap into.
Okay. So then how does Chinese astrology play into this? Because you mentioned you mentioned the birth year, so that's Chinese astrology, right?
That's one aspect.
Okay, so I'm 1972, so I'm a rat.
My husband was born in that year. I know that quite well.
Okay.
So in Chinese astrology, we take the Gregorian date that we're born, and we translate it to the Chinese calendar called the Feng Shui. And it gives us a year, a month, a day, and an hour of your birth in Chinese characters. And we get what are called heavenly stems at the top. We get a set of characters of 4 at the top, and we get another set of 4 animal signs. So you might go to the Chinese restaurant and see a placemat and go, I'm born in the year of the rat, or I'm born in the year of the snake, and it gives you some information about yourself. And sometimes you think, no, this does not apply to me at all. This is not really fit.
Yeah.
And the reason is because that's only 25% or less of the information. Because there's also 5 elements in feng shui. So if you're born in the year of the rat, you could be a water rat, which is 1972. Could be a wood rat, could be an earth fire rat, metal, so forth. And that's only 25% of the puzzle. And then we have a month, a day, and an hour. In addition to that, we have what are called 10-year luck pillars. For 10-year periods of time, we get extra energy that gives information about what we can reasonably predict will happen or forecast what might come the path for life. And this all information you can use as a diagnostic tool. It helps us understand our personality, likes and dislikes, the kinds of choices that we'll make in life, the things that are most fulfilling to us, the way that we like to work, where we want a vacation, when to get married, when's a good time to have a child, when big life changes are likely to happen, like a move or a career change, something like that. So if you're walking around in life and you're wondering, how do I put my best foot forward? What kind of career should I get into, or when should I change? Have something on your heart or your mind. Chinese astrology. This is it's a really wonderful tool to help us understand ourselves better. In my practice, I use that to understand an imbalance of elements that pure energy of a person. And then I'm going to use that information and overlay with the house to help support you.
Okay.
That's the way to do this properly.
Okay. So, I mean, it sounds very intricate, and I love it. Yeah. Well, and I love it because it's very specific to each person, right? So
I call it like a couture experience, because what fits for you in that house is different than what fits for somebody else.
Okay. And so again, how, like, if you are designing a house with these principles, and let's say, you know, you have a partner in the house with you or kids or whatever. So are you gearing it again towards more of the breadwinner, or how are you figuring out like whose information to use?
Generally, we use
the breadwinner first.
Okay. Unless someone in the house is like a health issue. In which case we made a couple of steps for that person. When you're designing from scratch, you can often eliminate the obstacles that come with buying a house for resale. Because when you buy a house for resale, you get to say where you put the kitchen, or where you put the bedroom, or where you like you just walk in and go, oh, it feels great. Oh, it looks really pretty. Oh, I like the layout. But it might not actually be energetically beneficial for you. You might not know that. 6 months or a year or a couple years down the line, when things fall apart, your life starts to unravel. So this is why selection benefit from Feng Shui, especially if it's property, to make sure you're going to pay for it back. All of these are aspects we're going to look at. We're designing Feng Shui that fits for the people that live there.
Okay. Well, and why, you know, so again, with my background, and I didn't even consciously choose this mug talking to you, but this is my Sacred Soul mug, which has the quote from Buckminster Fuller: "Environment is stronger than willpower."
I love that.
That is what my book Sacred Soul Spaces is based on, because really, like, and why, you know, people might be thinking, why are we talking Feng Shui on connection to the cosmos? Because we live in a multidimensional environment, and we have energetic things affecting us, right?
Yes.
And without, like, unconsciously, things are affecting us. And so it's really, the more that we can be very deliberate, very intentional about our environment, that, like, I'm in my office here, right? So being very intentional, because I'm in my office all day long. And so whatever energy is in here is going to be impacting me, right? And then when we're in our bedroom sleeping, we're there for 7-8 hours sleeping, right?
Hopefully you're getting a good night's sleep. 7 hours. Most people don't.
And so anyway, so I just wanted for anyone, like, okay, why are we talking about this? Because it is so important. In my world, it's important, and I understand.
And Chinese metaphysics has answered that, actually. So in Chinese metaphysics, there's something called the 3 locks. What's called heaven lock, human lock, and earth lock. Heaven lock is what you're born with. This is your destiny. This is your Chinese astrology birth chart. You cannot crawl back in your mother's womb born at a different time. You get what heaven intends for you in terms of your luck and the balance of your chart. And how you use them is your choice. So human luck is your free will. It's all the choices that we make in life. The earth luck is your way. So it's the environment that you're in, which part of the world you live in, all of those things. And so we can reasonably control, if you will, or manage 2/3 of the luck in our life through our free will and through the function of our environment. The rest of it is what we're destined to go through.
Okay.
We can not change our fate. We can adjust our destiny through our free will.
Okay. So let's, so one of the things, again, that I did take a Feng Shui class, and this was back in 2009 or 10, so a long time ago now. But, some of the stuff in Feng Shui that people do, it's a curiosity question for classical Feng Shui. People will say, okay, put the bells or the chimes in this certain corner, and certain kinds of, water or plants in certain corners to create that environment. Is that part of classical Feng Shui?
True, authentic Feng Shui will not ask you to trinkets, crystals, figurines, money frogs, money trees. No.
Okay.
We want you to understand how the land is formed, Because the land will inform and dictate, if you will, how the energy behaves and how you will be in space. If you think just logically for half a second, thousands of years ago, those things did not exist.
Right.
Crystal balls hanging from your ceiling. No. All they were trying to do was survive. And all they did was like observe the world, right? What side of the mountain has the right climate so that I can grow my vegetables and I'm not being impacted by weather systems that comes every year. Where is the water? And when the water flows in a direction, how does that impact my life? I mean, amazing. Chinese ancients were amazing. They documented all of it. They told thousands of years, developed formulas that were originally used for people like the emperors, super high class people, their power. And this is why Feng Shui is and only used by emperors and presidents and high class people and the best companies in the world have been using Feng Shui. They're using really complicated formulas. If you think about some of the big multinational corporations in Hong Kong, in Silicon Valley, in London, New York, think about those big money centers of the world. The land itself has Feng Shui that's quite good. Then they're building a building that taps into that Feng Shui. It's not that hard.
Okay.
Even our capital was supposed to be New York, right? We all learned from watching Play Hamilton. We're supposed to be New York, but they became DC. That's where our money center is. And the reason is because Feng Shui land is so good.
Interesting. Okay. Well, so how does one know, like, if their land is good? Do they have to hire you or another Feng Shui expert? And if someone, okay, so I purchased a house kind of sight unseen 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I did it from a video tour because, because in Hawaii, they were still quarantining for you had to quarantine for 2 weeks before you could do anything. And when I bought the house, and so we weren't going to come over and quarantine for 2 weeks and then go house shopping. So anyway, so I bought it sight unseen, not knowing really the neighborhood, anything like that. So so far it seems to be working out. It's definitely not our forever house, but I'm just curious, like how do you determine if the house is right for someone? Is it, again, just that whole Chinese astrology?
Chinese astrology is one piece of it.
Yeah.
The orientation of the property gives us another piece of information. And then we analyze how those two go together. If you're a new buyer, first of all, there's a free toolkit on my website. You can go to my website and a buying toolkit. Also, fsinmotion.com. Under free stuff. But you can also just think logically for a second. If you are buying a house in a city, your realtor can tell you which is the affluent part of the city, where people are doing really well. A realtor will be able to say, this particular area has become depressed, it's not being kept up very well, coming out of fashion, it's not desirable anymore. The chi in that area is not so vibrant anymore. If you go to the other side of that mountain, people are affluent. The houses are good. It's a desirable neighborhood. Property values are high. The schools are really good. Just logically, you can sift through some of that even without knowing Feng Shui. Some of it is what your budget is. Maybe you don't have a budget for the best side of the mountain. But maybe just next to that, you find a pocket that's quite good. I do not live in $1 million house. I don't need a huge place to me and my husband. So in the mountain that I live in, there's a pocket of huge multi-million dollar homes. And I found the easy way right to it. Where when I drove up the street, up the little incline of the hill. And all of a sudden, the chi it was really quiet and chill and easy and like that's the kind of environment that I want. And that's how I found this house. And I had an idea what I wanted in the house. And I walked in and I was like, the kitchen's here. The bedroom's here. And like I had a checklist. So as soon as I saw it, I knew it was my house. But you might feel like that too without even having a feng shui.
Yeah.
And then you can add other layers to it.
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So and then in the house that we ended up getting is at the end of a cul-de-sac essentially, or like we're at the and our road is called Pao Nani, which is beautiful ending. So, but we had, we back up to basically behind us, it's the tallest mountain in the world, Mauna Kea. So, yeah, so I feel very like supported because of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And you got a house on either side of you.
Yeah.
That's what we call an armchair formation. That's what we want. Something solid, bigger behind us, something of equivalent size on either side.
Okay.
You've already done very well. Good job.
Okay, so I know people are going to want me to ask about abundance. Like, how can we create an environment that really calls in the abundance?
It's a great question. 8-mansion systems are really good, useful system for that. Because if you are using directions that are unfavorable, you may find yourself like digging holes and losing money, and you just can't seem to get out of a situation. And sometimes you have to stop digging. It's sort of like hemorrhaging. You're like hemorrhaging money. Stop the bleeding. First, you have to make changes. Stop the bleeding. Then you can heal, and the opportunities will come for money to into your life, and you can retain it. Some of that is through your Chinese astrology. If your personality is somebody that will always give money away, you may have to make some choices, not give your money away, pay everybody else, and take care of everybody else's bills first. But with the feng shui, there are definitely the nachos that you want to focus on can be used for wealth development. The position that you're sleeping at night. Particularly the stove, because the knobs on the stove are what are called wealth activators. And so if your stove is positioned well in the house, it can make a big difference. I know this for myself because when I first started my feng shui journey, we ended up with a massive legal issue around money. And when I talked to my feng shui master, I learned that our stove was activating really negative stuff. So I had to go to my husband and say, honey, we have to stop using the stove. And he did all the cooking. And he was like, what did you say? I said, I'll do all the cooking from now on. So I stopped using the stove. I covered the burners with like a wood chopping block. And then I took a 2-burner stove and I put it in a different part of the kitchen so that it was facing a particularly different direction. And then I used a crock pot like in another part of the kitchen. And it took a little bit of time to sort of get the issue to calm down. We did get it fixed in our favor.
Okay.
So money does not come falling out of the sky. Sometimes you have to stop bleeding in order for situations to turn around. It gives you opportunity to manage the situation in your favor.
Okay, so I'm super curious about this. So how, in terms of the stove placement, again, is it the direction that it's facing? Is that what we're looking at, north, south, east, west kind of thing? Or is it where it is in position in relation to the rest of things in the house or the kitchen? Okay.
Both. So one system is location of the kitchen in relation to everything else in the house, based on the orientation of the house as a whole. So, for example, If you are a West life person, which you will find that information toolkit based on your year of birth, you will be divided into what's called East Life Group or West Life Group. The house has the same concept. So based on the orientation of the house, the house is facing east. That means it's sitting west. And the house is a West Life house. So if you're a West Life Group person, having a West Life Group house is favorable.
Okay, so can you, just so that I'm trying to imagine this. So wherever your front door is, like if that's facing east, then the back of the house is to the west. So then that's a west house person.
Correct. You come take my class.
Okay.
Good job.
Okay.
That's it exactly.
Okay.
And there are some rules for that. So for the kitchen and a West Group house, we want the kitchen in an east sector.
Okay. And what if the orientation's more north-south as opposed to?
Then it would be opposite, right? So north-south orientation, which is quite favorable for the next 20 years, by the way. That's a whole other system. It's multi-layered.
Yeah.
If a house is north-south facing, that makes it east group house. So then the kitchen would need to be in a westerly section. That's one aspect. The other aspect is what's called flying stars. So when a house is built and the roof is put on, it gets a birth chart. Just like all of us when we're born, they were born. So energy is essentially locked into the house. And it's a little bit like background music. So it tells us the kind of vibration happening in those particular sectors of the home. And if the stove is sitting a particular orientation, it can impact the energy that's trapped in there is those are called flying stars, and those stars have energy pattern behavior. And we want the stove to be activating good stars. That's why the knobs become wealth activators.
Okay.
That's a little bit more advanced.
Yeah. Okay. So, again, I'm just thinking my house, it's been added onto over time. Mm-hmm. And again, and so it has a very interesting configuration where the front door that goes into the main living area, which is a great room, it's a living, dining, kitchen, open space. So there's that door, but then we have another door from our lanai that goes into our family room. And then we have another door that goes into our ohana, which is actually where my bedroom and my husband's office is. So we have these, and all of the doors are facing different directions. And so
that's good.
That's good. Okay. Is it? Because it's a really interesting house, like very strange, but I'm just curious.
It's good because it's helpful to have more than one door.
Okay.
If your main door is not so favorable, it's very helpful to have another door.
Okay.
So if you're in an apartment and you only have one door, that's all you have. And if the door is not favorable, maybe you have a balcony, or maybe you have a window where you can invite chi coming in from another place. But really, we bring the chi with us through the door. So if you have more than one door, it's helpful to identify if this particular door is favorable or not. Sometimes the door is generally good. But over a 9-year period, 1 or 2 years, visiting star energy is unfavorable. So for 1 year, we might be like, just close that door. You don't really want to use the door that year. Then you have another door that you can use, even though it might be inconvenient.
Okay.
That's okay. Sometimes avoiding negative things in your life is just as helpful.
Yeah. Okay. And some people are going to be like, oh my, this is too hard. But
it can feel really hard because it is intricate, and this is why I said it's never one thing. Mm-hmm. And this is also in my experience why money trees and money frogs, crystals can feel good for a short period of time, but the energy may not hold long enough. It may not be sustainable for the things you want. And it also is a misconception. The only way that you can access money is one sector of your house. What if that sector is a bathroom? Or what if your house is U-shaped and that sector is missing?
Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense that you would not be able to make money.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
Right. Well, and that's kind of how our house is. It's it's kind of an L-ish U shape. So it would be very, like, if you're thinking of, just a normal rectangle house or something where those quadrants are, our house doesn't fit that.
Right. And so there's different ways that we would approach it depending on the length and the size and dimension. Is it missing? Is it extended? Is it something that is part of the house? Is it measured separately? This is all where practice comes to play. And this is why you do sort of need a professional to help when you're dealing with a really problem.
Okay.
It's helpful to let somebody else see it. Even my own Feng Shui. I have colleagues I go to. I don't even try to do my own. You're too close to it. It's just helpful to let somebody else see it. And we can filter through all the misinformation that's on the internet. The stuff that is so unhelpful for you. And is because the lucky charms are only lucky for the person that you're paying money to get the lucky charm. It's not helping fix your problem. At least in my experience.
No, and I think that is so important because I do think that people are misinformed about what Feng Shui really is, and so I appreciate your perspective, and really it's okay. Yeah, there's just so much that goes into it.
There's a lot that goes into it, and there's, like I said, more than one way to skin a cat. And sometimes you may need to work with a different practitioner to get a different perspective, a different answer. It's sort of like going to a doctor. You may go to one doctor and they say, "We need surgery. We have to be really aggressive with this," and might not sit well with you at all. And you might be like, "I want a second opinion." You can certainly do that with Feng Shui. Go talk to somebody else. They have to say. See if their approach. You're really letting someone in to the intimate details of your life. Bedroom, into the things that are on your heart and on your mind. You need to be able to trust them and understand the kinds of things that help you and how it's going to affect you over time. Some things work relatively quickly, like flying stars, work very quickly because people love them. They're very satisfying. Some other systems like aviation, other wealth building formulas take time.
Okay.
And so depending on how it is, you can get what I call a pick, which is sort of like a rubber band and you stretch it out and then it snaps. You get what I call a kick, and it changes really quickly. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, sort of like trying to steer the neck around an issue. It takes a little bit of time to turn the boat the way. You have to decide what you're willing to do. And what kind of commitment you're willing to make. How inconvenient it is for you, and what you're willing to tolerate. If you're a practitioner gives you a list of things to do, and you only do 4 of them, call that person and tell them it didn't work. Because there's a reason that they gave you to do.
Yeah.
10 things probably are connected. If you're not willing to do all the things, can't say it didn't work. It's sort of like one of the directors says, you need to exercise and change your diet. And you need to go on vacation. If you go on vacation and you still eat and you don't exercise. Did you do all the things that I told you to do? No, I went on vacation. It was a great time, but I came back and I'm still stressed. I feel good. Didn't do everything you're supposed to do. Very simple.
Okay.
I'm pretty direct. I mean, people situation. And if you want to feel good, please get a massage. If you want to know how to fix something, I will give you a recommendation to fix it.
Okay. Well, and so being that, so can you work with people remotely, or do you have to actually be in the physical space?
There's quite a bit that could be done remotely.
Okay.
If you're designing a new scratch, we need to measure it in person. If you are purchasing an existing property, we can view it remotely. Especially if you have a floor plan and we're able to see it on a satellite. We can advice and you can give me a little more on your video that we remotely. A lot of people were not working remotely during the pandemic. Had to pivot really quickly. They just didn't know how to do work remotely. But if you had the system in place, it wasn't that hard. My business grew during the pandemic. I was already doing that work.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. What else would you like the audience to know about either Feng Shui or Chinese astrology? Lynn, I guess real quick, I do have a question because I'm familiar with Western astrology because my mother was an astrologer when I was growing up. So what is the difference between Western astrology and Chinese astrology?
I don't have a lot of experience with Western astrology. It didn't really for me.
Okay.
Really feel like the sun is in the third house and you're rising. This is a great time to let something go. That is not helpful for me. And I came to Chinese astrology when I was trying to how to make my way corporate ladder, how to make myself marketable, how to explain my personality. I know that I'm really good at something, but how do I explain that to you in terms that the scanner on the resume is going to pick up, right?
Right.
So I had to learn other terminology to explain why I'm good at the things I do and why I'm beneficial to your company. And that is for me between Chinese astrology and Western astrology. It really helped me understand my personality, the kinds of choices that I make to make, right timing to do something, and how to share the best parts of myself with people. How to explain. That's in an office environment. Why do I get along with this boss versus this other person? Why is this person good to be on my team and the other person not so good to be on my team? These were really questions I was grappling with, and Chinese astrology helped me answer them for me. Because it helped me understand the balance of elements that we are born with and how they interact. My limited understanding of Western astrology that it's the things that we can see in the cosmos, the planets, the stars, the things that we can visually see. The five elements are universal. They're all the things that make up the universe. So we're not limited to where is Jupiter, Mars, Venus, North Star. This is everything. And for me, that was a much more holistic approach, and it was much more effective, fascinatingly accurate. It also told me about things that happened in my life and why they happened when they happened, and what I can learn from these situations so that I can improve in the future. And also how I can do things differently if that pattern of energy shows up again. So I know how to adjust and pivot and get the most out of a particular energy interaction.
Okay. So then when someone comes to you and wants help, do you automatically run their Chinese astrology chart to be able to help in their environment? Or is it, I guess, how do people work with you?
So when I do a Feng Shui consultation, I certainly include Chinese astrology as part of it. I will run charts because I use that information as part of the diagnostic tool. Your chart is missing fire element, and you've chosen a house that doesn't have fire element. We have to figure out the Feng Shui how to tap into it.
Okay.
Because often someone will choose a house that's reflective of their chart. Very common. That's one way that I can use Chinese astrology. I can also use it completely separately. I have clients that come to me and they just want to talk about the energy of the year, how they best optimize the choices of the year based on the energy and balance. A lot of my wealth development, wealth creating clients that do like financial advising, those kinds of things, like into crypto, they want to know this information. People who want to know, should I start dating because I'm looking for a partner? Is this the year that somebody might show up for me? Do I need to get prepared for that on an emotional level and be ready to welcome in a new partner? Is this the year that I should think about having a baby? Is this the time where my body's going to be ready and the energy to support me in having a child? Hey, I'm thinking about buying a property, maybe selling my property. Is this the time to do that? And we can see some of those as clues in Chinese astrology. So we can use that independent of Feng Shui, and we can use it with Feng Shui.
Okay, beautiful. Well, so again, in the last just little bit of time we have here, what else would you like us to know? And then tell us again where we can find you on your socials and your website. But yeah, what do you want us to know?
If you want to feel a sense of empowerment in your life, a sense of well-being, a greater sense of control, if you will, over the things that are happening, and being able to manage challenges in your life, you should consider the significance of your physical environment. The way to find me is on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. My website is fsinmotion.com. I have a newsletter. I don't do a lot of newsletters, but you can sign up to get the occasional newsletter. I do talk about Chinese New Year every year. So everybody always wants to know about what's coming. And we're coming into the year of the dragon in February. It's going to be a big year for a lot of reasons. And you may be curious about what's coming for you individually and for your home, because we'll talk about the feng shui of the year and also your own personal energy of the year. So you can stay tuned for that. I also make personal calendars for my clients. And that sale is going to happen in October.
Okay, well, and we're going to be airing this after October, but we will be close to the year of the dragon changeover. But I really appreciate the conversation and getting to meet you. So much information. And I mean, yeah. So for those of you who really, you have no clue what you're doing in your house, I highly recommend reaching out to Jillian, and I am so excited to go see your toolkits in your free stuff too on your website, because yeah, this is so much more information than I ever learned. But I didn't get hardcore into the feng shui. It was a little more of the just superficial. More of the design, right? Which is great. And a beautiful space can have good feng shui. And it can be a beautiful space and not have good feng shui. Right. The energetics are off. Yes. So even though everything can be decluttered and everything can be put away, you could still have challenges. And that is when feng shui can come in. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much for being here. And for those of you listening or watching, thank you for being here as well. And I'll see you next time on Connection to the Cosmos. Aloha.